Hello, hello, and welcome to my thought on this very, very hot Saturday. Very hot Saturday. I've been thinking a lot about faith because we're dealing with things we can't control right now with the virus, and we have to make decisions about whether to go into a grocery store, when to wear a mask, uh, whether we can take a chance on going someplace or visiting someone. And all those decisions depend on faith. I think people know I'm an atheist, but I believe that whatever your faith is, it's valid for you. And yesterday, I was having lunch with one of my very favorite people, and she has an autistic child. And she has taken beautiful care of that child and has defended him and given him an education and moved to a place where he could have proper schooling. She's been a model mother with that child, and he has not been easy, and it has not been easy for her. And I said to her, "What are you going to do for him to prepare him when you're gone?" And she said, "God will take care of him. God gave him to me, and God will take care of him." And I have absolutely no doubt that for this lovely, lovely woman, God, in the form of I don't know what, will take care of her child. And I am also remembering very often those of us who think that we're the intellectual elite think that people that are truly devout are not too bright and not too discerning. And that is not true. And my friend, Catherine DeLay, who is probably not with us anymore, but Catherine DeLay was a lab technician at the National Institutes of Health when I was there. An amazingly intelligent woman and an amazingly sensitive woman to the human condition. And she adopted me while I was there because I was there for so long. And she would take me home on weekends. And I would get out of that hospital atmosphere. And it was part of the reason why I got well. I also believe that one of the reasons that I got well is because she was just um, so sure that I would, that she asked me to knit her an Afghan. An Afghan takes a year. And when I left the hospital, she bought the yarn and I knit her an Afghan. And knowing that Catherine believed I would live for a year made me think that I probably would. And while we were back and forth, we kept in touch for years. Her father died. And I said to her, "Oh, Catherine, I'm so sorry." She said, "No, no," she said, "it'll be all right. I'll see him again." I said, "When?" She said, "I'll see him again after I die." And she believes that. Or she believed that. I don't think she's here, and I'm sure she's together with her father now. But I think about that faith, and I think that you don't have to be religious to have that kind of faith. One of the things that I have absolute faith in is that I can overcome anything. I just think I can. I'm really not that intelligent, and I'm really not that strong, but I just really believe I can. And I remember, and many of you will remember, when I broke my heel. And I recall, I remember when I broke it because I couldn't believe that I wasn't going to be able to go home and take care of my dogs and cats. And the doctor said to me, "You can't go home tonight." When they were doing the X-ray, I had slipped, and I had I thought I was on a ladder, and I forgot I was on a ladder, and I stepped back instead of down, and I landed on my heel. And my wonderful, wonderful Leo, who is my dog sitter and also my pseudo daddy, took me to the hospital, and the doctor said to me, you can't go home tonight." And I said, "I have to. I have to." And he said, "You can't stand up. You can't go home." And he was right. And so I spent that night in the hospital, and Leo went home and took care of the animals. Um, And the next morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I don't know about the rest of you, but at 6 o'clock in the morning, that's not my time of day. And anybody that is jolly and happy at 6 o'clock in the morning is not my kind of person. And this jolly doctor came in with my chart. I was at that time 80. I was 80. He looked at my chart, and he said, "Boy, you really messed yourself up. A woman your age, you'll never walk again." And this was unthinkable to me because I was absolutely certain I was going to walk again. I was certain. So I said to the nurse who was hovering there listening, a marvelous, marvelous nurse. She was originally from England. She worked at the NHS. She was absolutely a marvelous woman. And she was saying, "Yeah." And I said, "Get me another doctor because this one isn't going to try to make me well, and I know I'm going to get well." And she did. And this doctor, I always tell this story, I always thought that this doctor's father had probably been fighting with my ex-husband in Korea because he was Korean. And he said to me, I remember looking at him and saying, what I need to go to Edinburgh. That's what I was saying. This was in the middle of July, and I said, "I need to go to Edinburgh in 2 weeks. Um, can you do something?" And he said, "I'll put you in a cast. I'll put you in a special cast. But it would be better if I did surgery because you've destroyed your Achilles tendon." And so it was that I didn't go to the Edinburgh Festival that year. Instead, I ended up with a plate in my foot and 3 screws I didn't even enjoy. But after, and it was a bleak time because I'm not strong enough for crutches. So I got a bicycle that you rested your knee on. And and Leo took the dogs to a breeder who took care of the 2 that she had given me and my other 2 until I got better. And I did get better, but the thing was, I did my exercises uh, religiously, and I did my exercises. And what I didn't know is that this doctor, Dr. Kim was his name, that this doctor too didn't think I would be able to walk easily. He thought I would probably limp or I would probably have a problem. And I remember his shock when it only took, I think, 8 weeks. I got well. And I remember his shock when I walked in on both feet. And and he took all kinds of pictures of me because I was his poster child, because he never expected me to be able to walk that way. And what he didn't account for is my absolute faith that I would. Absolute faith. So I'm thinking about that absolute faith, and I'm trying to transmit this to everybody who sees this. Because I think if you have absolute faith that if you do contract the virus, you will get better. And if you have absolute faith that fear is destructive and that you do not need to control the future because you need to have absolute faith that when something happens, you'll be ready to cope for it. If you have that faith, I think you will find it easier to get through these very bleak and very uncertain times. I have that faith. And thank you so much for joining me for my thoughts.